The United States is heading into another potential war, active war with Iran. It's May 21st. 2026, and this is going to spell absolute financial disaster for Americans as well as other citizens of the world. Let me explain. So, here is what we know right now. We have a leaked memorandum from AutoZone to its district managers across the country. And that leaked AutoZone memorandum is exceptionally scary. What it is saying is very near future. Donald Trump and Israel got the United States and the world into one of the potential biggest economic downfalls that we have seen since the Great Depression. We have oil infrastructure, which the entire world depends on, absolutely crumbling before our eyes. Exhibit A, AutoZone leaked memorandum to its district managers, where they are warning that we could see up to a 40% drop in supply in lubricants for our cars, i.e., the oil that goes into your car. And this is extremely concerning because not only are they talking about a drop in supply, but they're talking about potentially some just being completely out of stock altogether, not even existent. Now, we've seen these type of supply interruptions in 2020 during the pandemic outcry, but now we are seeing it to the oil industry, and that is devastating because as much as we can promote solar and wind and all this hydroelectric power stuff, it still doesn't power our day-to-day life. I mean, literally everything that we have is made of basically plastic nowadays of some sort or another, and that all comes from oil. But even if we're talking about gasoline, which the United States isn't going to run out of tomorrow, the United States has enough oil supply so that we can continue to drive our cars. The problem is oil for our cars. That is going to run into a major crunch right now because most of that comes out of the Middle East. Most of that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And now we have AutoZone issuing this grave warning and how they predict that they're going to deal with it as a company and profit off of it. So this is both terrifying and a bit disturbing that they're looking at this as a potential boon in customers. So the person who wrote this, the author's name is hidden, but it does say, attention team, speaking about the unusual or historic supply chain disruptions. It's common for those of us who have been in the business for a moment to reference situations decades ago. But the truth is, if you've been with us for even a year or already worked through one major supplier loss or related rebranding, if you've been with us for just a bit longer, you worked through one of the most difficult reshuffling of inventories and changes in sales flows in our company history during COVID. It goes on to say that they are expecting a drop due to unfolding situations in the Middle East. We're facing the largest supply shortage of lubricating fluids in modern history in America. Realistic, middle of the road estimates are for average available supply in this product category to drop by 40%. This is middle of the road, which means it could be as high as 60 or 70%. Imagine paying $30 a quart for oil. That's the potential that we are running into right now and is coming down the pike in the next few months. Now, a lot of people right now are scrambling to their local, service center to get their car oil changed. And this is only going to exacerbate the image or the problem. If your car isn't due for an oil change and you're just running down there to get it because, you want to get it before it's all gone, that's only going to make things worse. And that's that panic buying situation. But what they are talking about here is how they plan to utilize more DIY oil changes, as people are just not going to be able to afford to go to their local service center and do it because, they might want to charge you $200 to change your oil or $300 to change your oil. So it'll just be cheaper to do it by yourself since you won't be able to afford it. That's where AutoZone's planning to come in on this and gain more customers. And so they give a couple of examples here, like a late model Toyota driver coming up on an oil change and OW16 isn't available for that Toyota. Is talking about the system that they're putting together, might recommend that a STP any mileage of 520 and show we can have a 5-quart jug shipped to him next week. This is the type of scenarios that they're coming up with to deal with this. What are the alternatives? Because some products are just not going to be available at all. That's extremely concerning. And I, for one, am glad I know how to change my own oil. And I, for one, am going to go and stock up on oil tomorrow. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to probably go and buy about enough to do 4 oil changes, which is about what I need a year. So I think I can get through a year, get it while the getting is good now. And I know that's panic buying. And I just said panic buying is bad. But what I'm talking about is if you're going to the service center and, you just changed your oil 700 miles ago, don't do that. If you're going to go and buy oil to do it yourself, okay, that's different. Now, remember, you also have to change the oil filter as well, but those should not run out of supply. It's just the lubricants. Let's get into, but that's not all, guys. We got more. So there's more evidence of this, and that is coming from another source, and this is right from the Middle East here. This is the UAE oil minister that has came out and said at a conference that even if the Strait of Hormuz opens tomorrow, all hostilities are ceased. They would not get back to normal until the second quarter of 2027, which is pretty wild. He is saying that if, these things continue on for any amount of time, we're really going to be in a pickle here, because they really don't have, as much as there's been some fluff about them doing a land pipeline, etc. Even if hostilities restart, Iran can hit those pipelines no problem. They're not buried underground. They're above ground pipelines, and they're trying to lay them as fast as they can. So they're just open targets. Like Iran has satellite information too that it gets from China and Russia. So they know where those are. So if the war pops back off in the next week or so, Iran could absolutely hit them. So with that being said, we have extreme warnings coming out. The supply of oil in the United States has dropped to its lowest level in, I believe, like 2 decades. And yes, we still have gas at the pumps, and yes, we will still have gas at the pumps for now. But, all of the extra stuff that we rely on in this country and in the Western world, that could all come to an end really, really quickly. So let's pray that the war doesn't continue on, that they can resolve this, and we can try and get back to normal. Follow along for more if you got any value out of this, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Rumble.